And we are live. So, good evening, everyone, and hoping you can join us tonight for Adobe Creative Educator Level 2.
Teaching just got more challenging. We are learning about teaching long distance. We are learning about the day-to-day challenges facing everyone. We are remembering why we all gathered in the same room to share ideas, work on a whiteboard, and hold a pen in our hand. Now, more than ever, our passion for teaching drives us forward. We are discovering.
Ayan, so please asking you if you're hearing me clearly. Okay, so once more, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Adobe Creative Educator Level 2. Ayan. So once more, good evening everyone. Shout out to Sir Wilbert Aaron Chavez. Uy, from Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Muntinlupa. Ayan. And kay Sir Gigabit, shout out to you and same to Sir RV Bartolome. Well, actually tonight it's a different one, no. I will attempt to finally complete the Adobe Creative Educator Level 2. Ayan. So, I'm gonna be sharing to you guys the link for this. And if you're just new on hearing what Adobe Creative Educator is, and you haven't finished level 1, I'm hoping you can join me, no? Join us in the doing level 1 kahit na this is intended to this live stream is intention is to finish Adobe Creative Educator Level 2. Ayan. So let me share uh, to you guys a claim. Ayan. So if you finally completed the Adobe Creative Educator Level 1, ayan, and then eventually Level 2, you'll be given a digital badge. Okay, ayan. So what you're seeing here are some of the badges that I have collected a while ago. Ayan. So I have here Adobe Creative Educator Level 1. So even if you're this is open also to students who would like to be ano, 'di ba? It's an additional credential, and having an additional credential, 'di ba? Never hurts. Ayan, mas okay na level up kaysa sa hindi. Ayan. Okay, so in addition, we are also live in Twitch via Digital Creatives Philippines. Ayan. Okay, so I'm gonna be pasting. Ayan, I have pasted the link. Okay, so hoping you can join me. Ayan, grab your laptop and open up your Adobe Creative apps. Ayan. So once more, please confirm, no, if you're hearing me. Parang kanina yung ano, I'm not hearing the ano, yung kaninang video na pinlay. Ayan. Okay, so hoping you can join us. Sabay-sabay po tayo na tapusin na. Let's finish Ace 1 and 2. Ayan. Now and for all, no? Actually, the creative Ace 2 was released last year pa. Ayan. So ako ay huling-huli na rin, no? Kung may mas huling-huli na, huling-huli pa sa akin. Ayan. So tapusin na po sana natin tonight para wala nang ano, no, wala nang utang. Okay, in addition sa lahat po ng mga nag-register, we're requesting you to register para madali po tayong magpa-raffle mamaya. Ayan. Okay? Okay, in addition, ang ang taya po tonight, ang pangalan ko po ay Joe Mark, and inviting you to connect with me po in LinkedIn. Ayan. So yan po yung account ko sa LinkedIn. Also, shout out to our friends in MechaniWeb. Ayan. Please join our group. Ayan, MechaniWeb. Sir, paano yung mga walang Photoshop sa desktop laptop? Ayan. Actually, hindi pa tayo sure, Sir Wilbert. As in, I have no idea what are the requirements for ACE level 2, but definitely we will be using some Autodesk apps. Ayan. To Sir RV, the registration is I think it is in the description in YouTube, which goes by the name of register here to qualify in our raffle draw. Ayan. Okay, yan. Yun lang yun. I'm not sure if pareho siya sa ano, no, last time sa training natin with Photoshop. Again, in addition, I would like to thank everyone na sumama, at sana natuto po kayo sa Photoshop nung nakaraan with Sir Onel Pabico. Ayan, shout out to him. Many thanks. Ayan. And hoping sana in the future, pag na-master nyo po yung mga Adobe softwares, you bring the laugh back. Ayan, by volunteering. Ayan, in our community and by teaching, sharing what you know. Ayan, so in addition, ayan, join us. Okay, share ko lang din. We have our community, Digital Creatives Philippines, wherein not only it caters Adobe softwares, but anything pertaining to digital creativity, using any digital creative design technology. So hoping you can also join us in Digital Creatives, and we are growing fast. Once more, thank you so much sa lahat po ng mga nag-join, to those who join Digital Creatives Philippines. Also, we have a lot of user groups specific for each Adobe software. So for example, if it's Photoshop, the naming convention would be Adobe Photoshop User Group Philippines. Ayan. So shoutout na lang muna din. Shoutout na lang din muna din sa mga nag-join ng Adobe Photoshop User Group Philippines. Ayan. Is a good speaker and lecturer. Yan, tama ka, Sir Wilbert. Ayan. So, si Sir, nakita nyo naman, no? Si Sir Onel. Tayo, hindi naman tayo we are not asking for, di ba, for payment for fee. Yan, it's all from the heart, and our small way and means of serving our country and our countrymen. And yeah, again, hoping pag kayo po ay na-master nyo yan, sana you get to share what you have learned, your knowledge din sa ating community. O, naalala ko to yung tuloy kay Sir Ronel, parang may tatlo atang nag-dislike eh. Na inakala nila dapat English daw yung content. Ayan. So ako din pipilitin ko, I'll try as much as I can to spoken in English daw. Ayan. So once more, shout out to our new friends joining us in Adobe Photoshop User Group Philippines, Miss Hannah May, Angela, Jigo, Aquino, Gina, Basilisco, May, Kabage, Angelica Rapsing, Romel Aguilar, Sarto. Ayan, shout out again to our friends in pamantasan ng lungsod ng Muntinlupa. Ayan, especially to Dean, no? Kay Dean, ayan. Ayan. Good evening, Miss Angeli Bontigaw. Okay, again, no, the naming convention would be Adobe and then the name of the Adobe software. So if you would like to learn more about VFX, motion graphics, inviting everyone to join us in Adobe After Effects User Group Philippines. Ayan, ang mabilis. This is also growing fast. In addition, may iba ng onte. Every Facebook group, we also have an equivalent LinkedIn group for that. So just for example, this time Adobe Premiere Pro User Group Philippines in LinkedIn. So again, if it's Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop User Group Philippines in LinkedIn. Ayan. Also, for those who are interested to learn more about vector graphics, ayan. Okay, inviting everyone to join us in Adobe Illustrator User Group Philippines. Okay, shout out Chastine, Dre, Velenia Sheila, Christina, Princess Alrengdora, Sean, Gabriel, Froilan, Romero, Crystalline, Pastor, Juner, Cabab, Rizalyn de la Cruz, Richard Garcia, Dan Carlos Ocampo, Rica Monteclaro, Ray, Balaba, Manuel, Geldore, Blessing Dyke, Ban Art, yeah, sir. Good evening, Cliff Valente, Cesar Dan Bartolay, Mark Anthony Manuel. Ayan, thank you for joining Adobe Illustrators. Ayan, apologies Justin, 1 week ago pa pala. So stay tuned lang po sa community natin, no, sa in Digital Creatives Philippines and to our friends in MechaniWeb for the dates, the future dates of trainings for Illustrator, Premiere Pro, After Effects. Ayan, InDesign. And lastly, pumalo na tayo. We've reached another milestone. It's 7,000 members for Adobe Educators Philippines. So this group is targeting everyone who would like to teach to teach an Adobe software. Also sana all. Hoping sana all may Wacom din, no. So again, inviting everyone to join our friends in Wacom User Group Philippines. Ayan, same. Kapareho nyo rin po ako, no? Sana wishing to have a Cintiq 32-inch or 24-inch para to fully utilize Adobe Photoshop. Ayan. So I'm seeing here the latest price list. Ito pa rin ata, no? Of Wacom pen display and tablet. Grabe. Cintiq 24 153. Sana nga all. Okay, so edX is a platform by Adobe wherein you get to learn a lot of things, of course, about Adobe. And this is where also we can find and take up Adobe Creative Educator. Okay, so I'm gonna be reposting this. Ang output po, no? Maybe some of you are asking if there's an output. Ayan. The output is kung ano yung sinabi sa site na to, no? What the request is by the authors, teachers of Adobe Creative Educator. And once more, after you have finished this, 'di ba? You'll be having a digital badge. Now that digital badge, you can add that to under skills ba? Under ano ba? Under what? It will be under licenses and certification, guys. Ayan. It will be under licenses and certification. Saan ba yun? Accomplishments, skills. Wala ata dito. Talagang you have to scroll down. Ayan, under licenses and certification. Ayan, Adobe Creative Educator yan. Level 1. So, see credential, you will be redirected to the badge. So, me, I have taken this last September 18. Again, this is level 2, but samahan nyo na rin po ako. Let's finish this once and for all. Okay? For us to move on and to learn something new again, no? So once more, this is under Credly. Yeah, last time Credly was acquired, Acclaim was acquired by Credly. So here are some of matagal na, no? Actually, some are already expired, mga digital badges. Also, so if you would like to take up the challenge of Adobe certification exams, ayan, meron din po. Ayan. And you can also head to edX to learn more on how to pass this exam. So again, it's edX, adobe.com, Adobe Creative Educator. Okay? Let me share to you something. Ayan, so today we'll be tackling level 2. Again, ako po I'm very late for this one. A lot of our friends have already finished this. And like you, I guess the reason is na sobrang busy. Ayan. Okay? So, what are we going to learn today? After taking this course, you will understand. Ayan, these are some of the things that we are going to learn. Instructional design. Ayan, which is very important. Ayan, on how we can infuse that creativity into any course. How to write down and plan for creative learning outcomes. Ayan, learning outcomes for your course. How to scaffold and sequence creativity into your course. Ayan, so how to provide peer and teacher feedback. Of course, syempre, napakahalaga ng feedback. Actually, just to share, recently, I took up TESDA, Trainer's Methodology, and the course outline we're seeing here, the objectives we're seeing here reminds me so much of TESDA's Trainer's Methodology. So shout out to our instructor for TM1, Sir Glenn Agda, if he's if he's listening right now, or he has info that we have a channel. Okay, so next, how to personalize and differentiate creative outcomes for all students, importance of fostering a diverse and inclusive learning environment. So again, no, it's teaching. And guys, 'di ba? If you would like to learn something, again, if you would like to learn something, 'di ba? Ituro mo 'yan. 'Di ba? You'll be the learning curve, you'll be learning that thing faster than being the student. Ayan. And you will be having the respect and recognition na, ayan, ikaw nagturo, no? Ayan. So, again, next, how to plan creativity throughout online or distance learning. Yes, because it's COVID time pa rin, no? Everything is done online. How to encourage sharing and communication of creative learning And lastly, how to choose the right Adobe tools, ayan, to help students express their creativity. Okay. So next, itong course pala na to, level 2, ayan, no, it started September 28. Matagal na nga. September, October, November, December. Ayan. Okay, and this one will, the course, this training, this online course will be retired on September 30, 2021. So it's tagged here as a beginner course, 6 hours. Of course, hindi tayo habot ng 6 hours tonight. Don't worry po, no? We'll speed this up. Pipilitin po natin as much as we can to finish this once and for all. Okay, so currently, as of yesterday, it has 2,215. So guys, if you have an internet connection, of course, and a laptop, suggesting sabayan to join me. Let's do this. Even if you're not into level 2 but to level 1. Ayan. Okay, so paano po mag-register? Yes, there's just to answer John Stephen Waco, may certificate. Yes, there is, but it will not be coming from us, no? From me, from us. This one will be coming from Adobe itself, guys. Kaya napakaganda. Ayan, and you'll be having, ano, no, after you finish this one, Adobe will be sending a digital badge. So, take note of this URL that I am currently highlighting. Specific po yan sa akin lang. So, yan yung e-certificate ko. Ayan. And you'll be having this as well. So, sabayan nyo ako today. Feel free to ask questions. Ayan. Okay, this is a very great addition, credential, in which you can also add this into your LinkedIn profile. Ayan, me. Same like me, under license and certification. So, for Zachary Byron Potato, ayan, paano mag-register? Okay, I'm gonna be pasting again the link for edX. Okay, the request is, the challenge for tonight is we will all be doing this. So I'm hoping you're not, you'll not be watching me, but you'll be joining me as we finish this up. Level 1 and level 1 for sa mga not yet, not yet na nakapag-take ng level 1, and sa mga level 2 din. Ayan. So the registration, Zachary, we'll be having a raffle draw before we end the live stream. So that's the only intent for the registration. Okay? The registration is for the raffle draw. Ayan. Tonight. Okay? Ayan. So again, 6 hours. Let's try to finish this within 1 hour. Okay? So I'm now in again the website of Adobe edX. Okay, so kung hindi, once more, if you're not yet done with level 1, here's level 1 under the same link page. Ayan, feel free to enter in level 1. But for us today, ayan, I'll be going. Ayan, I'll be going na to level 2. So again, for level 2, we have 2 badges. So may it be an higher education faculty, or if you're a K-12. Now guys, if you're only students, any of the 2 will do. Walang kaso. 'Di ba? Ang ganda pang you're, 'di ba? And you can be a sort of a trainer, a faculty, not necessarily a trainer, no? Okay, so this can be a great addition, guys, to your resumes. Ayan. Okay? Yeah, and we're hoping na, again, no, our community encourages everyone to be an instructor, to be a trainer, di ba? So ako, for me, mini, mo, I'll be selecting higher education na lang for now. Ayan. So shout out din pala no to my classmates in masters in IT. Ayan po. Mahilig po ako mag-aral. Ayan. I'm currently taking MS IT. At ayan, the reason na na-late din ako dito, it's uh, taking up MSIT, ayan, consumes a lot of my time. Ayan. But of course, we're hoping for the best. Clicking now, ano, higher education faculty. Pero, ayan. So, once more, this course is absolutely free. Okay, so design your creative course. Ayan, so this course, ayan, was made possible by this group of peoples. Ayan, I'm seeing here Dominic, Trailer, Courtney, Miller, ayan, Tanya, Avrith. Okay, ayan, so this was carefully created, no, by a lot of people. Ayan, to bring in creativity into the classroom. Okay, so once more, it's free for all members. Granted that you have registered, no? Signed up pala. Signed up. Okay, signed up in uh, edX. Ayan. Is it okay if I will register tomorrow? Pwede naman sa edX, no? Pero if you would like to be qualified to our raffle draw tonight, register sa link below video description ata ng YouTube video. Kailan po muna i-take yung level 1? Yes, kailangan i-take yung level 1. Nandito lang ako, gawin natin mabilisan, parang speed challenge. Okay, so last time, if you'll be checking the videos of MechaniWeb, I demonstrated how we can quickly finish up or complete level 1. Ayan. Okay? So, hoping to finish this, and if not, pwede. Tatapos talaga natin dapat. Okay, so I'm going to select enroll now. Ayan, 6 hours. We'll try to chop this off within an hour. Okay? Design your creative course. Ano pa ba yan? So, it has only one section, no? Kinabahan din ako. I thought this has many sections. Okay, so I'm going to click on section 1. Ayan, the importance of designing a creative course. Ayan, so I'm seeing at the bottom we have the status bar. So we're now 0. Welcome to Design Your Creative Course. The importance of creative course, what's in this course. Let's try to play this video.
Creativity is becoming more important in higher education courses, and for good reason. Because in today's fast-changing world, creativity is the catalyst for so many things. Self-expression as well as innovation, collaboration, critical thinking, communication, and problem-solving. Because of its importance, teachers are learning to integrate creativity into their courses and learning outcomes in new and exciting ways. Research shows that when instructional design asks students to approach a project or problem with a creative mindset, students become more engaged in the subject, feel more motivated to learn, and ultimately enjoy academic and emotional success in long-lasting ways. In this course, we'll build upon that research and insights from creative educators just like you, so that you can plan for creativity in your course, whether it be humanities, arts, social sciences, STEM, or any discipline. We start by acknowledging that creativity isn't an elusive or charismatic ability accessible only to a select few. Research also shows that all students can be taught to take risks and generate new ideas. The trouble is, instructors don't always plan for creativity in their classroom. Elaine Starko, famed creativity educator, notes, the processes of creativity are inextricably tied to those of learning and motivation. Classrooms organized to develop creativity become places of both learning and wonder, the curious delight. In this course, we will walk you through simple, actionable steps you can take to ensure your learning environment is a creative one, where all students can succeed and apply new knowledge in creative and deep, long-lasting ways. Drawing on proven models for intentional instructional design, coupled with Adobe's unique approach to creativity in education, will make embedding rigorous creative instruction in any course possible. From creating a great learning outcome to sequencing, spiraling, inclusive design assessment, and feedback, we've got you covered on all the core components and tools to start designing your creative course today. We know that great instruction doesn't just happen, it's thoughtfully planned. Are you ready to infuse creativity into your course?
The right mix of creativity and curriculum helps develop innovative students. It encourages them to learn new things, and they in turn become more effective communicators. This creative expression helps develop their emotional and their social skills.
I think the most exciting thing about designing for a creative classroom is that you're literally putting creativity front and center. You get to inspire students to be innovative, to take risks, and really to play, which is something that's so crucial for students these days in the 21st century.
Designing for a creative classroom to me is putting the building blocks in place and to stir up, to challenge creativity, to allow students to have their imagination provoked. And I'm very much a stir and nudge type of educator. I love to nudge the students and stir them into thinking for themselves and becoming creative so that the outcome is varied, is different.
A creative classroom is really one where everybody's individuality is honored, everyone's narrative is honored, and there's space for everyone to be themselves.
The most rewarding thing in designing a creative classroom is really seeing the outcomes. The learning outcomes are really where this shines the most. I think that when a student feels like they cannot be creative when they enter the classroom and they feel like they actually can be creative when they leave the classroom, regardless of discipline, you have really brought a new level of confidence to that student, and they will be able to take risks in the future that will be beneficial to their development, not only in higher education, but their development professionally once they are in their careers.
Creativity, it is an essential skill that we are seeing industry professionals really wanting young professionals to have, and bringing forth new ideas, new perspectives, and that really helps in terms of bringing forth an evolution and advancement in the field. And so I think it's really important to emphasize that in our classes moving forward.
For me, the most rewarding part of designing and working within a creative environment is actually seeing that spark of light when students actually solve a problem, when they've been wrestling with it for weeks maybe, and they come up with that solution and ultimately make it happen.
The most rewarding thing about designing for a creative classroom is knowing that by putting in a little more thought into instructional design, I'm ensuring that students get more than content knowledge or disciplinary skills, but that they're also cultivating those essential skills like creativity, communication, and collaboration. Because unfortunately, those aren't often baked into traditional standards, curriculum, or learning outcomes. So we as educators have the opportunity to make sure that those don't get overlooked.
Ayan. Okay, so what's in this course? Ayan, we have seen an overview. Okay, the importance of designing a creativity. Okay, so moving forward, upon completion of the assignment, again, guys, this has an assignment. We will be given a task here in order for us to finally get a hold of that badge. So as I scroll down, I'm seeing here the next button, clicking on this. Okay, scrolling up. So, how does creativity relate to other skills? So, they're showing us here course inspirations. I'm seeing here science, infographics. Ayan, again, using an Adobe tool. Ayan, shout out to Claudio. Ayan, Educator Insights. Okay, let's view this YouTube video.
There are numerous approaches to instructional design for integrating creativity into your course. In this lesson, we'll introduce you to a few different popular models and show you how they allow for injecting creativity throughout the planning process. Let's start with the importance of backwards design. Backwards design means starting with learning outcomes and designing backwards to individual activities, lessons, or content where students can demonstrate their knowledge. This principle is at the heart of approaches like understanding by design, ADDIE, which sequence the instructional design and learning process with the end result in mind, and universal design for learning, which encourages instructors to start with the why of learning first, through the lens of representation, engagement, and expression. All of these frameworks have a few things in common. They are adaptable to creative teaching across all subjects and grade levels. They encourage teachers to plan instruction with the end in mind, some more explicitly and others more iteratively. Most importantly for this course, they allow you to name creativity and creative thinking as an end goal and create a framework to then infuse creativity into every step of the planning process. We encourage you to spend some more time with these three models, or to use your current model for instructional design. And ask yourself, where in my planning process can I make creativity more explicit? How can I design for it in each element of my course, from the learning outcomes to the assignments or activities, and in areas like social and emotional learning, inclusivity, and distance learning? Putting creativity at the forefront of every stage of the planning process means that creativity will become an integral part of student learning and also part of your process. In the words of creativity scholar Mitchell Resnick, think of the planning process as tinkering. Tinkerers understand how to improvise, adapt, and iterate as new situations arise. Tinkering breeds creativity. Start small, try out simple ideas, react to what happens, make adjustments, and refine your plans. Let's hear from educators like you about how their instructional design process, or their tinkering, created aha moments in their courses.
Teachers play a central role in developing creative thinkers. It helps me as an educator to be able to reach students at different levels. It helps me to develop a curriculum that encourages students to look at different ways to answer a variety of challenges.
I typically use understanding by design and ADDIE as my instructional frameworks, although I'm also familiar with UDL. But most typically I use understanding by design, UBD, where I plan with the end in mind. What I love about this is that I always have an end goal in mind, where I want students to really be by the end of my course, if it's in higher education. This helps me infuse creativity at every single step of the way, because I know where I want my students to land. I know how to plan creativity as milestone markers along the way to get them to that final goal.
I design my courses and my classes to be very experiential. I believe that working in teams and having to experience what a project is going to be like, not only in the sense of what the learning outcome of that project is, but also the communication and the collaboration that happens around that experiential learning, the ability for you to have reflective time, the ability for students to fail fast. This is all very important design aspects in my creative classroom.
It's not simply enough to have one student succeed, but every single student must succeed in their own way. So I plan with the end in mind, but I also ensure that there are multiple routes to success.
As an educator, I use both the understanding by design as well as the universal design for learning framework. And what those frameworks enable me to do, especially when I use UDL, is to consider whether or not my lesson is accessible to all learners.
Okay, let's move forward. You can view it. Let's check out this course inspiration. Ayan. Okay, so it brought me to an additional learning. Pero of course, no need naman to immediately take up this that course, no. It's just for reference. Okay, so quickly as that, let's scroll down and hit the next button. Okay, we're now at 15%. Okay, ayan. So what makes a creative learning outcome? Ayan. Of course, with every, 'di ba? With every course, 'di ba? The objectives should always be defined. Okay? So, course inspiration, there's another sample here. Okay, and once more, let's play the video.
Think of a student learning outcome like the final destination of a journey. Taking a road trip without that final destination in mind can be exciting and adventurous. But it's our job as educators to ensure that students reach their final destination having mastered the content, skills, and literacies that matter the most for their future. This principle is at the heart of backwards design. First, create clear, specific learning outcomes for your students. Then design the activities, assignments, or assessments best suited for reaching those learning outcomes. Creativity, like communication or critical thinking, can be a learning outcome on its own, or it can complement or support existing learning outcomes or standards. If your curriculum or course is a prerequisite, prescription, or anchored in higher education standards, first identify where creativity will be essential to student success. Even if creativity isn't explicitly named, it can be simple to find the places where creativity best supports your standards or course. Look for these telltale signs of creativity. Do you have learning outcomes that ask students to use inquiry to use different kinds of questions? Do open-ended or complex tasks? Create novel ideas and hypotheses? Represent knowledge in new ways? Use the following verbs to help you plan for creativity. Now you have creative learning outcomes. Here are some examples of creativity in action in learning objectives. See how this language and literature objective highlights creativity? Notice how this math objective depends on student creative thinking? And this history or civics objective has creativity and the creative process at its core? If you don't already have creativity in an existing learning outcome, see how simple it can be to add those elements at the beginning of your instructional planning? Examples like these help your instructional design and your outcome because they're also SMART, or specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. Taking the time to ensure you have a creative and SMART learning objective at the outset of your planning makes it easier to create aligned activities, learning experiences, and assessments to help your students reach their end goals with mastery, confidence, and creativity. Let's hear from educators that have made creativity a core part of their students' learning objectives.
Learning objectives need to be concise, and it's very important that they clearly articulate expectations. So for example, when I was teaching at USC Annenberg, I was teaching creativity and design to a lot of communication students. And when they would see a creative project, there was a lot of anxiety there. So it was very important for me to make them aware that I was looking more at intentions and their critical thinking skills, less on how great they can use Photoshop and more on what were you trying to create with Photoshop and did you see that idea through?
As a creative educator, I love to engage my students in new and different ways. I want to encourage innovation when they're solving problems. I want them to be original, to take risks. Don't be afraid to fail. Have fun in the process of learning.
What makes a good learning objective in general is something that is tied to not only strong pedagogy principles, but also has an application into the real world. Having that connection, that bridge between what we're emphasizing in academia and what's being done in the practice is so crucial.
The objective is not just to get students across a particular finish line, to get them to acquire a skill or know something specific, or to be able to perform a particular way, but actually that it be something that students can fit into their own lives and their own desires, right? That they can take it and make it their own, and that the objective itself is flexible enough for them to do so. such that any student can fulfill that learning objective, no matter of how interested they think they are in a particular topic or area. Another key aspect of learning objectives that goes along with flexibility is designing something that's within reach, something that's sort of small scale and is not, again, about sort of mastery, but is about exploration and forward motion and iteration.
Ayan, okay. So next, moving down. Okay, I'm going to click the next button, moving forward to sequencing and scaffolding creativity. So once more, shout out din pala no to our friends who are in the world of architecture, engineering, and construction. Naalala ko kayo because I heard about ano no. I am seeing here scaffolding. Ayan, sequencing and scaffolding creativity. Okay, let's watch the video once more. We are now at 23%.
If you've planned your instructional design with the end goal in mind by creating clear, specific learning outcomes for your students, the logical next step is to support student learning by creating staggered milestones and pathways to help them reach those outcomes. Content, activities, or assignments that lead to student success. Before you begin, it's helpful to ask yourself questions like, how and when will I build on prior knowledge or skills? Should this be a standalone activity or a 5-part project? Ultimately, the question for a creative educator is, how will sequencing or scaffolding help my students to reach their full potential? Here is an example of an effective sequence or scaffolded learning project where students create their own podcast using Adobe Audition. The series of activities walks students through 4 stages of a scaffolded project, each intentionally designed to grow in complexity, provide time for feedback and self-reflection, and build on previous work. First, students analyze the credibility of a podcast. Next, students carefully analyze the rhetorical moves that authors make in a podcast by drawing on learnings from the previous activity. In the last 2 steps, students prepare to create, script, and interview for their own podcast, building on what they've learned. By the end of the unit, students have developed the skills and components they need to create their own unique podcast, including brainstorming, iterating, giving and receiving feedback, and trying new approaches. Let's hear how creative educators sequence or scaffold learning and creative work in their courses.
When I teach creativity, I make sure that it's a routine part of the instruction and not an add-on or a special activity here or there. Because when it's a regular practice like other skills, then you start to think about how to build on it and scaffold in complexity and spiral and return to things. You get to say to your students, remember when we did that rapid brainstorm last week? Well, this week, we're going to do that same thing, but then add on to it a design thinking activity to break those ideas into themes or categories. Or you can say this time, rather than an independent brainstorm, you're going to generate ideas collaboratively in a small group.
Identify the large goals early so that students have a sense and a kind of buy-in to what the big picture goals are and a sense of where they're headed to. Then the best sort of thing that you can do, again, early on in the course is to make really small chunks, simply to demonstrate facility with a tool or with a concept, to demonstrate interest or to sort of identify an interest even. So making things that are really, really achievable early on, like build a sense of confidence in students. And then finally, as you get towards the end of the course or the project, to sort of throw open the doors and give students a lot of options.
As far as scaffolding and chunking skills and competencies, I start by beginning with the end in mind, looking at the skills and competencies and concepts students need to know, and students need to be able to apply, analyze, synthesize, evaluate, and in turn use that knowledge to create something new according to a performance-based task. In a creative classroom, that would be the same. It's all about moving students through the levels of Bloom's taxonomy, from knowledge through creation, and understanding that they come to us with certain intelligences, ways of learning, visual, kinesthetic, auditory, verbal, linguistic, and that we need to build on those and provide ways for students to use technology to enhance how they communicate their learning.
Ayan, okay. So finally, we learned what scaffolding is. So just recently, okay, I got a confirmation email. So if you have registered, okay, or enrolled to the courses level 1 and level 2, you'll be receiving this notification or an email. You'll be receiving this email confirming that you are currently enrolled and in the program. Okay? So, our first giveaway. First giveaway this evening. Ayan. First prize. Ayan. Goes to the first person. Okay? Na mag-chat ng hashtag Adobe Creative. Ayan. Hashtag Adobe Creative. First person. Okay? To comment down or chat down. Hashtag Adobe Creative in, okay, in Twitch. Okay? Gets to have 3 months LinkedIn Learning and Career Premium subscription. Okay? That subscription po, 3 months is valued at $90. So, 4-5 din yun. Diba? Sana makatulong yun, no? Okay? In Twitch po, Adobe Creative in Twitch, and you should, of course, syempre naman, you should follow our friends in Digital Creatives Philippines. Ayan, comment down lang. Ayan, yung Twitch. I'm showing you Twitch right now. Ayan, Twitchy. Okay? Comment down. Hashtag Adobe Creative. Sayang po yan. 4-5 din yan. $90 with 3 months. Sobrang dami nyo pong matututunan. Okay. Okay, moving forward. Let's now check out formative peer feedback. So I'm going to click next. Next. Okay. We're now at 30%. So formative peer feedback, of course. You will always level up, okay, by hearing the feedback of of someone. Napakahalaga niyan. Okay, and it makes us down to earth, no? Be in earth, no? Okay, that's how important feedback is. Not only about learning, pero of course, ourselves din, no? We may be hearing ourselves, pero you'll never know yung tingin pala sa atin ng ibang tao, di ba? So, the feedback is not only applicable into learning, but of course, I'm just sharing to you guys na it should also be applied to ourselves. So, the winner pala, no? The winner for our first giveaway is Robster the Gigabyte. Okay. Robster the Gigabyte, to claim your prize, you may claim your prize by connecting with me in LinkedIn. Just PM me in LinkedIn. Okay? So, quickly, let's get back to the action. Let's watch what formative peer feedback is.
Formative feedback is a powerful way to give students confidence and guidance by showing them what's working and what they might want to adapt in the future. It can come from many sources, including an instructor, from peers, or through student self-reflection. Studies have shown that students are more successful when they feel safe and supported, they're comfortable asking for help or inspiration from peers, they're given peer feedback during the creative process that is open-ended and reflective, and they receive confidence-building praise about progress and small wins. These types of peer-to-peer interactions double your creative learning gains by building bonds of community and trust. and helping to establish a safe learning environment where collaboration and risk-taking are encouraged. Here are some examples of activities and prompts for formative peer feedback in the creative process. Students highlight what is working well and what their peer can focus on in the next stage of their creative process. Students point out what's working, roses, areas of potential, buds, and what is getting in the way, thorns. You could use the tag feedback method, tell the creator something you like, ask the creator a question, give the creator a suggestion, or offer students sentence starters to ensure their feedback focuses on the creative process. For example, try the "instead of this, try this" prompts format. Think about the projects or activities you have planned to address your course learning outcomes. Then ask yourself, when and how often will students benefit from peer feedback? This will help you plan backwards so that your students get the peer feedback they need. Let's hear from educators like you who structure peer formative feedback in their creative courses.
Formative and peer feedback is so important in that creative process. The ability to be able to bounce your ideas and your thoughts off a peer, off somebody else, and hear what they're thinking, have them feedback to you. It really does help to formulate something even greater than the idea itself. There is no original idea. There's only things that other people have thought of already, and then we kind of make an iteration based on that. Just creating that safe space where it's okay to disagree with somebody else and actually present another idea, and it always results in a better final outcome.
Formative peer feedback influences everything that we do. Much like having a discussion at the dinner table about politics or an idea or a problem with your family or friends, formative peer feedback really helps students to talk about and socially construct knowledge and really build knowledge together, making their creative projects even more expansive, even more collaborative, even more constructed with the help of others.
I provide students with opportunities to learn from each other and provide critical and constructive feedback. In my experience, this is part of what they will need to do for the rest of their lives. And when they learn how to provide and receive critical constructive feedback or formative assessments from their peers, they will do better because they will have an understanding of how to take and receive, but also provide that feedback to others.
I believe that peer feedback is an essential part of any classroom. People work together. People work together in teams. When you are out of the classroom as a student and you're in your professional space, regardless of your discipline, you are going to have to communicate and collaborate with other people. And the ability for you to be able to get feedback and have a better understanding and a better opportunity to be able to take feedback, positive and negative, and be able to constructively use that feedback to better yourself, the sooner you can get those kinds of tools and processes under your belt, the better you're going to be in the long run.
Creativity is important for all because it helps you become a better problem solver and a critical thinker, which are skills that translate beyond the classroom.
Ayan. Okay, so that's what formative peer feedback is. And shout out to Robster, the Gigabyte. Ayan, congratulations. Ayan, for winning 3 months LinkedIn Career Premium and Learning subscription. Moving forward, okay, let's know what giving summative feedback is. Ayan. So we'll be learning some strategies and approach and giving feedback, okay, to our students.
When your students have finished their creative activities or projects, it's time to plan how you'll provide them with meaningful summative feedback. Summative feedback is so much more than just grading final assignments. If done thoughtfully, it ensures students fully understand what worked well and what they might improve on in future creative endeavors. Unlike formative feedback, which is given during the creative process, summative feedback is holistic and retrospective, an opportunity to comment on a student's complete creative journey. It can highlight how students responded to earlier formative feedback, show them the importance of and relationship between the creative process and the final product, and simultaneously assess content knowledge and the development of higher order thinking and skills, like the 4 C's. Rubrics are often the tool of choice for educators delivering summative feedback. They help communicate clear expectations and give specific feedback. Here's an example of a rubric where the success criteria for creative skills is specifically called out for students. This is an example of a single point rubric, but you could break it into columns to give students examples of what lower or higher levels of mastery look like. You can also adapt rubrics like this to call out areas for improvement and strength in each creative skill. Other organizations and teachers have developed their own rubrics. You might want to explore them further. There are also teaching resources on the Adobe Education Exchange. These include awesome creative rubrics that align to the outcomes or objectives of the project or activity. Now let's hear from educators who have had success with summative feedback.
I give feedback or assess creativity much like I give feedback and assess anything, a final project. I try to build on students' strengths so that they can carry those strengths forward through everything that they do. Well, even though it's a final project, I still can give them areas to think about polish or improvement so that they can also carry that feedback forward.
I assess creativity after a project is done by really looking to see, did that student exceed the expectations of the project? Did they really not only take the ask and deliver the ask, but did they deliver it in a way that might be unique or might be different than a way that their colleagues did? And another really important part of that is really showing the students what their colleagues did so that they really can compare and they can get ideas and share ideas and see how people took maybe the same exact mission but did something a little differently.
There was one particular case where the student was really struggling with a solution for a mobile phone app. And through critique and through personal support and reinforcement, the student not only got an A grade, but also went on to win several awards at the American Advertising Federation student competition.
Okay. Sana sumasabay kayo, no? So that's how quick things are. Ayan. Shout out to Mary Jean Ugbanyel. Good evening to you. And hoping you can invite others as well to join us. Okay. So that's summative feedback is. Okay. So let's move down. Hit next and head over to enhancing student choice. So once more in this video, we will learn how to personalize and differentiate creative education. Of course, we have a lot of different students. Ayan. Okay?
Everyone is different, and learners are no exception. When you personalize your instruction to create options, you allow your students' differences to shine. While collectively your students are all on the same creative learning journey in your course, as the instructor, you have the opportunity to ensure that all students can be successful. Personalized learning looks and feels flexible and authentic for all students. It encourages student choice and independent thinking. It's responsive to students' learning needs, lives, and identities. And it allows multiple avenues to student success. This is the case with all forms of learning, but it's even more important in a creative course. In each stage of your instruction design, consider the following things: what students learn, where they learn and demonstrate learning, how they come to learn, how they demonstrate learning, and how they can revisit and bolster knowledge or skills. Designing for differentiation doesn't need to be hard. It just needs to be purposeful. Imagine a final essay about using suspense in a literature class. You can boost personalization by encouraging students to choose from a long list of texts. You can create materials and spaces for students to learn content, knowledge, or skills inside or outside of class, and share their final projects with a live presentation or as a digital gallery submission. If an instructor sees their students getting stuck learning to interview each other in class, they might let students go off campus and interview family, friends, or community members outside of class. You can give students opportunities to collaborate or work on their own, use video or audio, or have extra time. These options create lots of ways for different learners to reach their destination. Let's hear from some educators who've developed similar techniques to differentiate and personalize instruction in their creative classrooms.
When it comes to creativity, I think allowing students to make choices about what tools they use and how they use their voice and how they tell their story is crucial. It gives them a playground, it encourages them to take risks, and quite frankly, it helps them learn how to fail up.
In my teaching, I don't feel that it's so much that I allow for or encourage personal choice as that I mandate it. That I'm not setting out to teach a course that has a definite endpoint, but is instead a kind of intersection of all of the varying interests and tastes and choices that students in the class will make in context with the materials that I've chosen.
When you are helping students be creative in a classroom, you still want to make sure that all of their individual needs are being met. And you can do this by taking a look at the process and identifying moments that you know a differentiated support would really help that individual student. When it comes to creative activities, I always think of graphic organizers, outlines, mind maps, brainstorming, and collaborative partners as an important part of that process.
I strive to create environments where there are plenty of options, no matter how students like to learn. For example, when I was the Director of Digital Learning Initiatives at USC Annenberg, for the students that were very hands-on, we had a makerspace. For students that were visual learners, there was a plethora of online tutorials. And for those students that really want to learn one-on-one, my door is always open.
And so being really clear and consistent with my communication, being very organized, making sure that all of my materials are in one place where students can get to it, that they are visually appealing, and so on and so forth. So there's no kind of lost information or added cognitive load to communicating. The second piece of that is asking them to communicate with me kind of a lot. Making sure that I'm available to them and that I want to hear from, letting them know that I want to hear from them when stuff is going well, when stuff is not going well, when they have a question, if they just want to stop by and chat, that my door is kind of open to them.
In a creative environment, you might give students choice on topics that they explore, and you might also give them choices on how they share what it is that they've learned, whether they use audio or video or text, images, they design something new, or they curate resources from a variety of places. They can get creative in a lot of different ways.
Okay, ayan. So moving forward, mamaya ng onte, we will be having another giveaway. Ayan. So before that, let's check out how to foster diversity and inclusion. So once again, to those who are new in our live stream, shout out to Sheila May S. Angkos, Mark Lester, Batikor Aileen Tungal, ayan, Mary May Gabatan, Hana May Handumon, Cherry May Handumon, Cherry May Handumon. Okay, so guys, kung nandito kayo ngayon at nandito pa rin mamaya, ayan, we'll be giving away, ayan, LinkedIn Learning and Career Premium subscription to our to all who are currently joining us, ayan, up to the end, of course, ayan. Let's watch Foster and Diversity and Inclusion.
Your students bring a wealth of experiences, identities, cultures, and ways of being to your course. Your instructional decisions can have a powerful impact on this diversity in your community of learners. It's why creating a culture of self-expression and inclusivity is paramount. Consider the phrase, "What I see can be me." If students see themselves reflected in what they're learning, they're more likely to be engaged and imagine themselves capable of mastering the subject matter. To support multiple perspectives in your creative course, ask yourself, who are the creators of the course materials your students are engaging with? Does that content provide opportunities for students to see themselves and experience a broad range of perspectives? What groups or experiences are represented in your content? Are all individuals represented equally? The ability to share your point of view is at the heart of creative self-expression. If you've developed trust in your classroom dialogue, discussion, and community, in the words of Zaretta Hammond, trust frees up the brain for other activities such as creativity, learning, and higher order thinking. To build that sense of trust and safety in your course, create opportunities or expectations for students to reflect on their identity and experiences. Connect that to their learning. Amplify their voice and confidence. Let's hear from creative educators to learn what diversity and inclusion mean to them.
Diversity and inclusion means equal access to the curriculum, equal access to viewpoints, equal access and voices when it comes to that whole creative process, the way things should be done. It shouldn't be that a person's viewpoints are hindered in any way, shape or form based on any of the subjective biases that we have in society. We should all be able, in an educational setting, in any setting actually, to be able to actually voice what it is that we feel and our voice be a valid contributor towards that final outcome. Again, it comes back to that whole idea of having a safe space to voice your opinion, share ideas with your peers without feeling as if your voice won't be heard.
When students see themselves, their identities and their experiences in the classroom, their learning materials, or in the projects and examples they get to create, it's powerful. They see that people like them can be creative, have a valuable voice, and express their unique perspectives, and the value that that diversity of thought and idea brings. It's so important to let students know that every part of them, their lives and their backgrounds, are relevant to what they're learning, and that they can bring all of that to their learning and self-expression.
Providing a classroom that is welcoming and meets the needs of students from all over the world with different abilities, different cultural backgrounds, different strengths, different items for improvement. And it just makes the educational experience more rich because we're able to learn about one another.
To me, diversity and inclusion mean that every educator and student in the classroom, in the building, has a voice and should have an opportunity to share that voice.
I have a great success story related to diversity and inclusion in the classroom. It came from my capstone campaigns class, where advertising students work with a live client and they compete in order to win what we call the Blue Cow Award. This particular class was working with the city of San Jose in order to raise awareness about illegal dumping and solutions to that specific problem. And the winning team actually created a trilingual campaign where their visuals were accompanied by copy written in Vietnamese, in Spanish, and in English. And this was created from, again, a multicultural, diverse team of students from the advertising program.
I remember teaching a course at Stanford, a version of which that I had taught previously for high school students that was a combination of literature and philosophy. And at one point, an undergrad student came to me really upset and said, "I'm not reading Plato. I don't agree with his ideas, and I don't see myself and what I believe in him or his ancient context." Now, this student was really good at critique. And so I challenged her and said, transform that critique into creation. Take that reading that you disagree with and transform it. Change the words, change the tone, and engage with his ideas, which was the point of the assignment, but do so by creating something that you'd like to see in the world instead. And I love assignments like that move students from those more passive forms of critique to active creation, and genuinely invite them to bring their own diversity and experiences to the subject matter.
Okay, moving forward. Ayan. Let's discover naman distance learning. Ayan, shout out Joanne Handumon. Ayan, once more to qualify for our raffle giveaway, simply register. I think the link is in the video description. Ayan.
Learning that happens outside the classroom can take many forms. When done in tandem with in-class learning, we know it is flipped, blended, or hybrid learning. If there is no physical classroom, we call it online, remote, or distance learning. Teaching fully or partially outside a traditional in-person classroom feels different. But with intentional instructional design, you can amplify creative opportunities and alleviate challenges students face. Adobe has been learning from the best practices of educators to understand the design principles that help them and their students be successful in different scenarios. We've distilled them down to the following principles. We've seen success with smaller, simpler steps and examples for students to build up small wins that build to complex skills and thinking. Timing looks different when students are learning asynchronously, so giving students the freedom to work at their own pace while keeping a commitment to hitting shared milestones respects their individual circumstances. Providing extra resources like links, supplementary materials, and tutorials supports students when they need immediate help. And online forums, video conferencing, and other interactive technologies keep students connected through activities like Think, Pair, Share. Let's hear from educators who have adapted curricula to keep creativity at the forefront of distance learning.
Creativity and collaboration aren't restricted to four walls, so you can still continue those through distance learning. For example, you can use cloud tools to work on projects synchronously and asynchronously. You can also communicate via web tools through mobile devices as well.
When I think about how creativity can work with distance learning, I actually wonder, how could you do distance learning without being creative? Because we're constantly coming up with new and innovative approaches to using this new technology, which asks us to rethink what discussion, debate, or collaboration looks like in this new normal. Students have often more independent or unstructured time with distance learning, which can be really well suited to the kinds of creative projects or activities that really thrive with that level of flexibility, or which can be challenging in a traditional, tightly structured or whole class school day. But this also means giving students more resources. They often need more videos or multimedia so that they can do more independent learning of the content or the tools. With those more flexible times, students often need more or different modalities of feedback to ensure that they're reaching those goals through independent or more self-structured learning.
Creativity and collaboration can totally be taught in a virtual distance learning space. Why? Because that's what we do so much in the professional space outside of higher ed. Companies all across the globe are working with teams remotely all over, and having students work collaboratively and creatively on team assignments where they have to work in a virtual space and do project management and do different kinds of things and really connect with different file sharing opportunities and to bring those aspects of virtual work into distance learning will only benefit them in the long run.
Just remember, first and foremost, everyone's in the same boat. You know, we're all learning together in this new norm of distance learning.
So I think it's totally possible to teach creativity and collaboration in distance learning. The two things that immediately jump out to me are thinking about multi-modal classes, right? Classes that have the ability to be done in a variety of ways that offer students a whole bunch of different entry points. Another way that this can be done is to use collaborative tools, to ask students to work together online, to write, comment, annotate, revise, draft different pieces of writing. This can be done asynchronously, so it's really open-ended as far as how students collaborate with one another.
So my number one piece of advice for any educator out there that's worried or sees that distance learning is a daunting task is to connect with others, grow your personal learning network, professional learning network, whichever way you want to say it. Connect with others through social media. There's so much you can gain. You can share ideas, you can bounce ideas off one another, and there's so many resources out there that others are willing to share freely.
Ayan. So my thoughts with regards to distance learning, actually, it made me more closer. I get to know my students more out of distance learning because I have to chat them, email them individually to make sure that they are learning. So that's my experience with regards to distance learning. Ayan. So we are now at 61%. Selecting next. Okay. So let's do another giveaway. Okay. Okay, another giveaway. Okay, so this time, what you have to do is comment down ulit. Hashtag Adobe Edu Creative. This time, ayan, comment down in Sir Jomark's YouTube channel. Preferably his latest video. Ayan, comment down. Adobe Edu Creative. Okay, our giveaway in this instance. Okay. Okay, moving forward. Let's check out how we can learn about the educational and social emotional benefits of sharing creativity for all students, no matter how young and how young at heart they are.
When students know that their work will be shared, seen, or commented on by others besides their instructor, something magical can happen. Suddenly, learning becomes deeper and more meaningful. Students gain confidence and begin to develop other essential 21st century skills that will empower them to flourish in all walks of life. Research shows that sharing work changes learning. Students become more engaged and motivated to do their best. Start to believe in the personal value of their work and unique voice. Acknowledge that the work they do is meaningful and purposeful. Think carefully about designing for a specific, tangible audience. And begin to build bonds of trust. Develop empathy. And establish their own avenues of sharing with other people in their lives. Adobe's creative tools encourage sharing, collaboration, and the celebration of creative work. In your creative classroom, students can share informally, early, and often with peers, family members, or with you to facilitate rapid feedback. They can create portfolios of their work that show their iterative creative thinking process all the way to final projects. Portfolios can be made anytime, after a week, a semester, or to showcase student creativity across an entire year, program, or degree. Students can also present their creative work in more formal and professional ways, through a video or presentation, a podcast, or in seminar or conference. In the process, they learn the conventions of professional displays of information using digital media. Let's hear from some educators who've developed motivational ways to encourage students to share their creative work.
When you are fearless about sharing your work and you're using your authentic voice to tell your story and to hone your personal brand, there is nothing more rewarding than receiving feedback. And in time, the more you put yourself out there and you keep honing that voice and that story and those messages you're trying to craft, you become addicted, and then you're a lifelong learner and there's no turning back.
I think the ability of sharing your work, especially in social media and strategic communication classes, is really powerful. And I feel that having students being able to do that, and they're going to be sharing this work as well as they're applying for internships and jobs in the workplace. It's so crucial to get different perspectives and, feedback on the assignments and stuff. So I encourage my students all the time to share what they're doing with their family, their friends, their colleagues, and of course, adding these items to their portfolio. all of these elements, give students the reassurance that what they're learning and what they're doing in the classroom is impactful, and they're learning, skill sets that will be, again, helpful for them as they're applying for, their dream jobs, their internships and opportunities. And so the more, feedback that we're able to give students, in terms of not only ourselves as professors and educators, but other colleagues, gives them a well-rounded perspective of what they are learning, what they're doing, and what they're creating in our classes.
Peer feedback, especially when it comes to the stage where something that the students are creating is kind of reaching its final form, having that critical voice to help you see your final product in a different light, just give a different spin on it really does help to make good things great. I'm a strong believer in sharing work. You see the impact is beyond what is happening in the classroom. You can see that actually for some students, it's actually opening up their minds for specific career paths. So this is not only a purpose to learning, but this actually mirrors a process that can happen in the workplace.
Ayan, okay. So, once more, I think it's still open, no? We're having another giveaway. All you have to do is comment down, hashtag Adobe Edu Creative to Jomark Bakiran's YouTube. Ayan, channel. Okay. We're now at 69%. So that's how quick it is and easy it is to take up the challenge of Adobe Creative Educator. Of course, this is a quick rundown of the course, diba? So we're hoping you will get to check out, like for example here, the additional learnings. For example, you can view the full lesson here on how Adobe Spark can be used in inspiring or injecting creativity into the classroom. Okay, I'm going to select next. Ayan. So choosing the right creative tool. So as you know, guys, Adobe is very popular, of course, with Photoshop. But if your classroom or your school has an Adobe Creative Cloud licenses, of course, there's a lot of creativity softwares, design softwares available for your students to utilize. And of course, each software has his or own strengths. Ayan. So let's check out choosing the right creative tool.
Great instructional designers start with learning outcomes and pedagogy. Then, choose the best tools to suit their creative goals. After all, you wouldn't begin an epic mountain climbing adventure dressed to go surfing. You'd start with your end goal in mind and choose the very best tools, digital or otherwise, to help you and your students to reach their destination. When it comes to creativity, consider 3 questions when selecting the right tool. Do you want a tool to help students think creatively about the content or subject matter? Having students see written information reformulated in visual or video format can lead to new avenues of thinking or trailblazing insights. Do you want a tool primarily for students to present their thinking in a professional or creative way? The content knowledge they are sharing may not be particularly creative. Still, you want them to present more traditional or linear thinking in creative ways. Are you hoping to increase their digital fluency around particular professional tools? Sometimes mastery of an industry standard tool can be a learning goal in and of itself, thus setting students up for future career and personal digital literacy skills. In the words of creativity and education guru Elaine Starko, learning how to do technical presentations well is an important goal in and of itself. It is just not the same goal as having students use the content information in creative ways. Both kinds of goals can be useful. Just be sure you are clear what you are aiming for. Let's hear from creative educators like you about how they think through choosing the best creative tools for their students.
The way I go about choosing which creativity tool to share with students to use just depends on the project. If it's something that I want them to do a recap, share what they're learning, they could do that either through a video creation tool, they can do it through a music creation tool, or a photography tool. It's just, I like to leave it kind of open, share with them all the different tools and teach them up front. And then at one point, they have the choice.
When it comes to teaching the tools to students, I always start first and foremost with the pedagogy. What are my learning outcomes? What do I need these students to learn? And then I work my way backwards from there when it comes to selecting the tools. When it comes to teaching the tools, I'm a lifelong learner myself, and I believe first and foremost in always starting with empathy and putting myself in their shoes. Because even though I've been using the Adobe Creative tools for a really long time now, I'm still constantly learning and relearning them myself.
There are so many Adobe tools to choose from that sometimes you may think, well, which ones do you select for different projects? It does actually depend on the nature of the project. If the learning outcomes for a particular assignment are based around print production, I would select, for example, a combination of InDesign, Illustrator, Photoshop, perhaps. And I like to integrate or to have students collaborating across different tools. I like them to maybe start off in Photoshop Sketch, move on to Photoshop, and then share their work on social media through Adobe Spark Post.
Quite often when it comes to choosing the right tools for the outcome, I somewhat leave it open to a certain degree, and I let the students choose within a specific range, knowing that these are the tools that can do the job. And again, I do that because I know that's how it works in the professional industry as well. Certain things that help me to choose certain software over the others is just how easy it is to use, the ability of the students that are about to embark on this journey. And sometimes there are certain tools that can be used in a specific way, collaboratively. It's like I'm like a kid in a candy store. There's so much to choose from. It's brilliant.
So what I try to do is give students a range of options. So for those students who are very skilled in their video editing or photo design capabilities, I say, okay, well, this is where you do Photoshop, InDesign, Premiere Pro, go for it. But then for those students who really need their handheld, that they need the extra reassurance and guidance, I give them Adobe Spark, Adobe Premiere Rush, but tons of resources, tons of materials to give them options.
So I used Adobe tools to help educators and students extend their learning, create content, share their ideas through video, through graphics, through photography.
I have a media and production background, and when it comes to teaching journalism students, there is no better tool on this planet than Adobe Premiere Rush. Students can be out in the field, shooting and interviewing on their phone, editing that footage, adding audio, doing some color correction, and then literally shooting it up to social media, particularly if it's breaking news, right then and there in the field.
Okay. We're down to the last 12. Okay, so further reflection now is a good opportunity to reflect on what we have learned. So okay, with this short span of time, okay, we have learned about designing our own creative course. Okay, so let me click next now, and we're now at 84%, which means the rest is now up to us to create the assignment part. Okay, so let's check out how to submit and share your project.
Congratulations, you've almost completed Adobe's Design Your Creative course for higher ed. To meet all the requirements for this course, and to make the first step towards obtaining your Adobe Creative Educator Level 2 badge, you'll need to create, share, and submit your own creative learning activity. This is a moment to draw on everything you've learned about instructional design for creativity in this course and deepen your professional practice in areas like creating learning outcomes, scaffolding, structuring feedback, adapting for distance learning, incorporating culturally responsive, accessible learning opportunities, and more. Please use the template provided for you with the assignment materials designed by the Adobe Education team in collaboration with other Adobe Master Teachers. Your learning activity can be any length, from a short activity to a multi-day lesson, unit, or full curriculum, whatever is most timely and relevant for your teaching. Regardless of the size, type, or format of the learning activity you're designing, ensure you incorporate these 4 steps. Clearly state the creative learning outcome. List the learning steps, sequencing, and guidance students will need to be successful, including opportunities for personalization, feedback, and sharing. Use an Adobe tool to enhance learning and accessibility, including any steps, guidance, or materials your students may need to learn the tool. Finally, be sure to upload your activity as a teaching resource on the Adobe Education Exchange. Your final submission for this course will be a link to your uploaded edX resource. And while you're in the sharing mood, we encourage you to share the link with fellow teachers and members of your education community using hashtag #AdobeEduCreative to engage in the global conversation. Let's take a look at learning activities other educators have created for further inspiration.
One of my favorite lessons that I developed for the Education Exchange is about teaching students, in particular freshmen in a college writing course or a history course, to analyze the credibility of a podcast. A lot of the times we take what we hear for granted, and in this strategy, it's a 2-hour strategy, students evaluate the credibility of a podcast and then they present their findings in Adobe Spark page. It's really interesting because they listen to and they read a transcript of a podcast. They then search for the authors of that podcast to find out who they are, to source them, and to corroborate their stories. They have to carefully analyze that podcast as well as check the sources that the podcast authors use, and then present what they've found in a creative and professional way using Spark page.
As a social science teacher, one of the things that I hope is an enduring understanding is that students grow as critical thinkers and that they leave my classroom with many more questions about the world around them than they had when they first entered my classroom. For the better lesson on protest music, the reason that this lesson resonates the most with me is that as a teenager, music was so important to me, as I think it is to so many teenagers, as they're trying to navigate their identity and who they are and find music and art as a form of expression. So by asking students to explore protest music throughout time and to choose songs regardless of their political views, regardless of their country of origin, students are not only able to follow through lines of history, but they're able to show me a glimpse into who they are and what's important to them. Each one of my students has an opportunity to give me a little glimpse into who they are and have the opportunity to build that relationship.
You've seen what can be done. Now, it's your turn. We can't wait to see what you create.
Okay, so that is the assignment for Adobe Creative Educator Level 2. So this one is, I think, is much more task oriented. It has thrown in a fair amount of tasks. So once more, feel free to watch the replay for this. Okay, and let's check out the assignment part 1 lesson plan. So they provided us a template here to create an activity or lesson for students. Okay, timing overview should be comprehensible and ready to use with learners. And what I've mentioned before, we are tasked to utilize an Adobe tool. Okay, so may it be Adobe Spark, Acrobat, or any of the Creative Cloud apps. Okay, and when you use your template, you will be prompted to make your own Google Docs copy. So rename it and start your work. Let's check out with the template with directions. Okay, make a copy. Okay, this is the template with the specific directions. So choose a title for your assignment, author name. Okay, this is an overview, 3 to 5 short sentences, painting a picture, for example, what students with materials and resources, instructions, feedback, optional tutorial for your Adobe Creative tool. So this is the section wherein we'll be mentioning instructions specifically with an Adobe tool. Okay, so let's check the empty template. Making a copy. Okay, so again, from the word itself, it's an empty template, but still it has some optional tutorial for your creative tool. Okay, so how about empty template Word doc version? So still the same, same with materials and example, Adobe products, student sample, rubric. The same with the copy of assignment template with directions. About template with an activity completed within it. Let's make a copy. Okay, so this one is a sample from Math, a person in time online. 2 to 3 hours. Have you ever once socials to learn and create, historical figure, materials and resources, Adobe Spark, learn and explore, create, feedback, share, and once more an Adobe Creative tool. Okay, so let's check again the first example. So once more, you need to mention the time for the course, overview, the objectives, what resources will be used, and under the instructions, of course, from what we have seen a while ago, we need to have a feedback and write how students can share their creative work. Okay, let's check another example. So once more, guys, the assignment, your works should be posted in Adobe Education Exchange as well. So this one was made December 10. Okay. Description. Premiere Rush was utilized for this, including Spark. Okay. So feel free to check out the other examples. And for the part 2, please create a 1-minute video answering the following prompt. So as an Adobe Creative Educator, how do you bring creativity in your instructional practice and students' experience? Your video can be created using the following app. So I think this is the most easiest, the easiest of the two assignments or tasks. So this is simply recording yourself, a talking head using Adobe Spark, Premiere Rush, or Premiere Pro and have them uploaded, or share your Adobe's or YouTube link as shown below together with the lesson plan. So here, if you are here to obtain Adobe Creative Level 2 badge, make sure you have completed, of course, Level 1. Okay, so here's the follow-up email just in case, because this is meticulously checked by a by a human, of course. And afterwards, they'll be sending you the badge. So again, patience. Okay, so if you're looking for more inspiration, of course, Adobe Exchange is the place for that. Okay, I'm sharing you guys the link, okay, on the details of the assignment. Okay, scrolling down, selecting next. And here's the section, the last section we're in. We will be typing in our assignment. So once more, part 1, please create a lesson plan using the provided template. Once more, these are the sample templates, 4 of these. The best one is, of course, the one with the lesson example by Matt Nemitz. I hope I'm not butchering his name. And the first one, the one with the detailed description. Okay. So again, for the part 2, it's simply recording yourself, preferably a talking head. Once more, a talking head is the viewers can see who you are, your face, you talking, okay, in the video. So once more, using Adobe Spark, Premiere Rush, and Premiere Pro. So with this template, you'll be writing them all down here in this section. Add your assignment. So let me recheck the previous one. So this is how the first assignment will be looking like. Okay. So you get in to type in your title. So in this example, it's soundscape. Okay, and the description, the products used. So for this example, he utilized Spark and the Premiere Rush. Okay, and then after this, you'll be inputting, placing the link as well for the talking head, and click the next button. So it's simple as that. Okay, so for the follow-up for this live stream, Adobe Creative Educator Level 2, we will be doing another live stream wherein we'll be showing you how I have created my own template, and possibly share another titles or examples for you to draw in inspiration. Okay? Okay, and as a as a bonus, so if you have nothing, if you're just chilling out tonight, okay, recall that it requires us to use any of the 3, probably Premiere Rush or Premiere Pro. Okay, so if you are my connection in LinkedIn, I'm gonna be sharing this course to you guys, learning Premiere Pro. Okay, I'm gonna be sharing this to all of my connections. Okay, in addition, I'll be sharing the link for you guys. So this is an additional reference to help you out create the of course, the video. Okay? So once more, everyone will get to have access to this course, granted that you are my connection in LinkedIn. So looking forward to see you all completing Adobe Creative Educator Level 1 and 2. Best wishes. Okay, so once more, if you're my connection in LinkedIn, you'll be having access to this course. Okay, and for better viewing experience, you can also suggesting you download the app. Okay, LinkedIn Learning has an app for this. Okay. So course shared. So once more, if you're one of my connections in LinkedIn, you'll be having access to that course that I have shared to you a while ago. Okay, let me check. So here it is. Just click on the link and you'll be directed to LinkedIn Learning. Okay. So again,
the dynamic process of manipulating and editing video.
Okay, thank you, Ashley. So we hope this helps. Once more, free course shared to you guys to help you out complete the Adobe Creative Educator Level 2, specifically utilizing a video. And for the follow-up of for this live stream, we'll be doing another live stream wherein I'll be sharing to you the output that I have made. And as a promise, okay, so to all who have registered tonight, okay, so the rules are, okay, the terms are you have to claim your prize within an hour. So of course, we will reward all who were still here and supported us tonight. And yeah, once more, hoping to see you guys getting that badge and hoping to see that badge reflected in your LinkedIn accounts. Okay, so for our first winner for tonight's raffle draw with Adobe Creative Educator Level 2 is Uybel M. Dumagsa. Ayan. So if Uybel is still there, she has to message me right away in LinkedIn. Okay, so once more, this raffle draw is serves as a reward for all of our friends who are who are still here in the live stream. Yeah, and for our last winner, okay, so it's Lady Me Kabasan. Okay, so Lady Me Kabasan, if you're still there, message me in LinkedIn. And also to claim your prize, I think our guys, our friends in MechaniWeb will be requesting you to subscribe into their channels. And guys, hoping you will also subscribe to my to my YouTube channel as well. So guys, good evening everyone, and we hope this helped you and hope you can spread and share the word on how easy it is to complete Adobe Creative Educator Level 2. Okay? Okay, and lastly, we would like to give recognition, of course. Filipino time is always on time. Ayan, so I hope this is one of our traditions whenever we're doing live stream and on-site training. So I would like to give recognition to our first commenter way before the live stream has started. So I would like to give recognition to Albert Aaron Chavez. Okay, so you also won. This serves as our token of appreciation. To all those who won, please message me in LinkedIn on how to claim your prize. But basically, I think the request of our friends in Mechaniweb is still be subscribing and joining their pages, YouTube channels. And guys, hoping to see you as well in my YouTube channel. Okay?